Yeah, it's just the four of us.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long ass show.
It was good.
We not good enough for you, Porsche?
No.
This is good for me, so it won't be no long ass show.
No, because I don't know that I kind of have to wing my last two, so don't expect me to have like these lists. Like I have three, and then I'm pretty.
You know me.
I can add four. Okay.
I'm not extra, so we all good.
Okay,
that's right.
Good.
You know, Kill don't like nobody, so he always has.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
That's right. Hey,
That's
he's setting up for the arguments for the rest of the
I
night.
don't like. We got to talk about these two. I don't like them.
He got some beats to make tonight, so he wants to argue all night so he can stay up.
All right, let's get ready to rock. What's good? You tune in Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad up here in effect with me as always. Ladies first, Porsche. What's good, miss?
How's it going, guys?
Everything is good. I got my man Vince out of NO. What's going on, fam?
What's going on, y'all?
And I got my bro Nick. What's going on, fam?
What's going on, big bro?
All right, we already know what it is. Let's get right into it. Last week, me and Porsche were talking about J. Cole. We were talking about the freestyle, and I was like, it's all right. And then I think we started talking about KOD or whatever. And I was like, it was all right. I'd give it 3 mics. Would I really probably give it 2.5? And somebody got at me on Twitter and was like, yo, you really don't like J. Cole, huh? And I was kind of like, I replied with what I think you want to ask me is why. He asked me, like, why don't I like J. Cole? Like, but not like him as a rapper. It's like personal. And I was like, I think what you really want to ask me is why am I not impressed with J. Cole? Because now I just feel like everything, if you like somebody, like I feel nowadays, these artists don't even have fans anymore. They literally have followers. Like when I was growing up, there was no the Beehive. If you like Mary J. Blige, there was no the Yonkerettes or no dumb shit like that. If you like Faith, it wasn't the Fools, or you just like people. Whereas now you got, what is it, Nick? The Navy with Rihanna. You got
y'all be telling me all this. I don't know these names.
Yeah.
I'm the one that said that Rihanna is the Navy.
Right.
Yeah, she has the Navy.
I don't keep up with it.
With Rihanna, the Navy, like what's the tie-in with that?
I don't know. I just said Rihanna fine as hell. That's all I said.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, you got you got the Barbies, you've got these people who really follow these people. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. I try not to even say followers with Twitter because when I think of followers, it's just probably the church in me. I feel like Christ, like your followers. So I don't even like saying people follow me or whatever like that. But I feel like it's like you can't even. If you like somebody nowadays, you gotta like them to the death. We was talking about on the timeline. I had Wolverine beat Batman. All these Batman stands came, and one of them even asked me, like, "But Kill, man, I thought Batman was one of your favorite superheroes," and I'm like, "He is, but the nigga still can't beat Superman." Like, it's almost like the dude was saying, "Well, if he's one of your favorites, he can beat everybody," and I'm like, "No, he can't beat everybody. It is fucking okay to say." One of your favorite superheroes can lose. It's okay to say one of your favorite rappers didn't have a great album. It's okay. So today's show we're talking about, we kind of did this maybe about a year and change ago, but when your favorite rapper fell off, or if they did, maybe your favorite rapper never fell off and they're still making dope music, but we're talking about when did your favorite rappers fall off and why? Just to show y'all that it's okay to be like, yo, I love this MC, but that last album, it wasn't what I was expecting, and not be a hater, not being accused of. Some nigga told me J. Cole's lyrics went over my head, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, I remember that.
Over my head? Like, you know, so that's what we're talking about today. Porsche, ladies first. Who is one of your favorite rappers, and why do you think they fell off, if they fell off?
Jadakiss, and yes, he definitely fell off. And I think I liked Jada up until Top 5 Dead or Alive, and I always say this because I was so utterly disappointed by that album. I couldn't even believe what I was hearing, and I think the reason why he just went so downhill was because he just tried to venture off into an area of style that he just wasn't accustomed to. It just wasn't him, and he couldn't pull it off. And I think that album is like zero mics, like literally zero mics. So Jadakiss would be one of mine.
All right, no doubt. It's funny with Kiss. I feel sorry for Kiss at times because I feel like I don't know. I know with the Bad Boy label situation that was just bad, but I always feel like he's trying to please everybody on his album. You know what I mean? Like he had a mix.
He's dope in the locks. He's dope on his own. Up until that point, like he's super lyrical. He's great at everything. Like everything about Jada was dope until that album. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and see that I don't agree because none of his albums are dope to me. He has some dope joints on them, but
yeah, and that's how
that's fair.
That's how I felt. Like I've never been. You know, because I remember copping the Champ Is Here mixtape, the Green Lantern joint. And that joint just had me so hyped for this next Jada album. And then I think that was the one with Y on it. And like Nick said, there's some joints here and there. But like you said, boy, she has, to me, I don't want to say he's up there with Jay and Nas, but I feel like Kiss is almost like the perfect MC. You know, he's got the dope voice. He can tell stories. He's got... you know, dope everything about him, and why he can't make albums, I just don't know. I don't know if his label's trying to push him to do stuff with Mariah to get radio singles or whatever. You know, but like, you know, I felt like the joint with him and Fab, like to me, even that was kind of off to the side some places. But nah, I definitely feel you with Jada and everything like that. Nick, who's the first person you got?
I wouldn't say they fell. You know, they did. They kind of fell off. Goody Mob. Because, you know, Soul Food, dope, Still Standing, dope. If not better than, it was right up there with Soul Food, with the Still Standing album. And then for some reason, when they came with World Party, I don't know if it was their idea, the label, like, yo, we need hit singles. They like did the joint with TLC. The album got some joints on there, but overall, it's like you can tell they try to go for commercial tracks, and it ain't work for Goody Mob. Right. That World Party was trash.
Yeah, and then after that, I felt like once CeeLo kind of left the group, that kind of like after that, and then they have an album like called One Monkey
Don't Stop No Show. Yeah,
like so it was just like, and then I always say like by the time these groups finally want to do a reunion, it's kind of like we don't even care no more. Like
it's too late.
Too much time is passed under the bridge. You know, CeeLo, Gnarls Barkley, and all these solo stuff. So I definitely feel you on Goody Mob. Vince, who you got?
I'm gonna say Ice Cube.
Yeah, it's a good one. On my list.
After America's Most and Death Certificate, I think he got into his, you know, acting, directing, that kind of stuff, and the music kind of played the background. You know, they had some decent songs. He's had decent songs after those two albums, but nothing that I thought was like comparable to those. And I think in ways sometimes fans, we kind of put these guys up to that, you know, first really great album, and then when we're not getting that first great album anymore, I think sometimes we don't give it a chance to listen to. But I think he didn't. Man, that Bop Gun song pisses me off to this day. I don't want to hear that Bop Gun.
You gotta pay homage to George, man.
Yeah, well, hey, look, you can pay homage to George in a whole lot of ways. I don't think that way though.
But here's the thing: what was the third album? The third album was The Predator, right?
I like The Predator.
Mm-hmm. I like The Predator too.
It ain't America's Most or Death Certificate. But I thought
didn't like Predator got Check Yourself Before You Wreck Yourself joint, right? Yeah, and it got the joint with Today Was a Good Day, right?
Yeah, I like that album.
Yeah,
yeah.
I felt like after The Predator, like
it's kind of
that's when it went down. But I mean, I feel you, Vince. It definitely, I feel like it definitely fell into the whole Hollywood thing, you know, because I feel like, you know, when you first come out, you're putting all your energy into hip hop, you know, but then once that Hollywood thing starts to pop, you know, you kind of.
That's not his fault. I'm all for it. You know, you get yourself doing that other stuff. Hey, that's fine. But when
it's more money in that than in
rap. Absolutely. But then the music starts getting too thin. Then you just gotta let it go. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't even know if he's got any plans on making anything new now. So I don't even know if I'd even want to really. I mean, I would check it out of respect. I think a lot of the people that I'm gonna name, even though they may not be making something new now, I'm gonna still check it out of respect because I do like them, you know, throughout their history in hip hop. But I can't do the Bop Gun. Now,
see, the funny thing is I'm almost the polar opposite of you. I do blame Q. because my biggest thing is this, and it's funny the example I'm going to give. Will Smith, the last album he made, which I can't remember, he said, like, yo, if I'm going to do this album, I'm going to take a year off of everything. I'm going to take a year off of making movies. I'm going to take a year away from all this. And even though the album wasn't dope, I respected his take on that. Because my thing is don't use what got you in the door, because you wouldn't have been writing Friday and Barbershop and all these movies if it wasn't for hip hop, if it wasn't for but so my thing is, don't treat hip hop like your side chick now. You know what I mean? Like, yo, take a year. Like, if you still got to make an album, take that time and put into it. So I do blame them, which is going to tie in to one of my people.
Well, before you go on, we gotta remember this: everybody ain't got Will Smith money. Will can just be like, boom,
that's true.
I'm just taking a whole year off. He got bread. Everybody ain't got their bread.
But here's the flip of that.
So they gotta consistently grind.
But here's the flip of that. Will saying I'm gonna take a year off is basically saying I may be able to shoot a movie in a year, maybe two. That's $40 million he's saying peace to concentrate on his music. That's still a lot of money to say no.
Yeah, but when you got it to say that, this is a different story.
I mean, he's got Jada too, right? Like, his situation's a little different. They're
Ice Cube. I don't know what his wife doing.
Exactly. What is his wife doing?
And plus,
she raising the kids, which is a hard job as far as like bringing in the money.
Yeah,
she ain't Jada. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, couldn't that time off could have been even between shooting anyway? So he could easily say, hey, I'm gonna take this time off, knowing full well I don't really have nothing going on movie wise just yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give this album, and then in the meantime, things are gonna be cooking on that Hollywood side, and I'll be able to jump right back in because I am Will Smith.
And see, I guess for me, I'm just like, you know, I feel like, well, that's one of the problems with hip hop. I forgot who said it, but somebody said once, they like, Stevie Wonder couldn't make songs in the key of life if that nigga is selling, you know, sunglasses and sneakers and 305 movies and shit like that. Like, you have to take, the reason we got those great albums from the 70s was because most of those people, I mean, out before the Wiz, you know, everybody just was doing music. There was no TV. There was no movie. That's why we got that great music. We're getting this subpar music now because niggas got clothing lines and sneaker lines and 80 different things going on. And I get it, but, and I'm not saying like, Jeff made a great example when he did, what was the name of that album? He did an album with Glenn Lewis. I forgot the name of it, but they made it in a week. You know what I mean? They started it the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday. They recorded all week. He got all these great musicians to come to his crib in Delaware. And he said, yo, I just wanted to show the industry that it doesn't take you a year to make an album. But for that week, everybody was zoned in. Like, they even got him on, they've got the behind the scenes stuff on YouTube, and you can see everybody's just zoned in. Nobody's on their phone. Nobody's playing video games. Niggas are all in the studio for 1 week to make a dope album. So maybe not a year, but I feel like these rappers nowadays, like, you know, get the text from their label like, yo, it's time for another album. It's like, oh, fuck, man, I got to do another album. Like, because, and I get it. You're like, this Hollywood is making me money quick, hand over foot. I don't got to do no promo tour. I don't got to shoot no videos. I get it. But then it's kind of like, stop making music then. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't.
But then when you stop making music, like Andre 3000, then people still complain.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. People still complain. Well, here's the thing, I guess, what I'm saying and why I was saying I would blame Q, because hopefully you would still have some love. And if you don't, then walk away. That's why I'm not really mad at 3000. Because if 3000 is telling me I don't have the love for it and I'm not going to be able to produce the type of album that you guys want because I want to fucking make tree torns now, then I don't even want an Andre 3000 album. If your mind frame right now is marketing tree torns, which who buys tree torns, but marketing tree torns, I don't even want no Andre 3000 album. Like me and you always talk about, I only want, most people's albums got an asterisk. Like, I'll take an Outkast album if Andre is rhyming, if Organized is doing the beats, and if everybody is focused. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at 3000 for not making an album. If you're telling me, yo, I'm not, my heart's not in it. I'd rather just take nothing than get some subpar, shit because you got, one more album you owe the label. I'm just asking folk that if you really care about hip hop, just take some time out, hold your business calls. I mean, Cube ain't making 50 movies a day. And I'm not trying to diss the brother, but Barbershop 1 through 4, it's not like this is taking some serious writing skills to write this shit about a barbershop. I mean, you literally could hang out in a black barbershop for a week and write Barbershop. So take some time and keep doing your music, keep doing your thing. But I feel you, Nick. I feel you that it's easy for Will Smith to say that, but I do feel like you have to take some time to perfect your craft, which ties into my number one person, who was one of my favorite MCs ever, Common. You know what I mean? Love him to death. Resurrect. Wasn't a huge fan of the first album, but loved Resurrection. I used to love her. To me, he's one of the few people who ever left his original producer with no ID to get with other folk and still made good music with like Water for Chocolate and B and everything like that. But to me, around 2007, I had to Wikipedia this. He started acting. That Universal Mind Control came out in 2008, which was trash. And I didn't know this, but do y'all know that Common has been in 33 movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know 33. I might have seen.
I knew it was a lot. I knew it was a lot.
Like a TV show, I know that.
And that's not even including the TV show.
Hell on Wheels or whatever it was called.
Like, yeah, he was in some AMC show and he's on The Chi. And the funny thing about Common is I don't think the nigga can act because every time I see Common, I see Common. Every time he got the same coldy voice. I mean, it's like you just
playing Common.
Yeah, like you're playing Common.
He either got a goatee or a shaved face. Like, nigga,
when that nigga was in Selma, he was just Common in 1995. It's Common every time he's on there.
Yeah. But he was like a hitman in a movie with Liam Neeson. I was like, that's Common. He just shaved all his hair off.
From Smoking Aces. That's just Alicia Keys. That's all it is. He's about to do a song together. But to me, that's where I felt like he went off track because the joint he had about Chicago. What was the name of that joint? Oh, Nobody Smiling.
Nobody Smiling. Yeah.
I really thought, like, when I heard what it was going to be about, I thought it was really going to be dope. But I've said it before. To me, to really make that album about Chicago, you gotta go live in Chicago.
Exactly.
I really thought that him and No ID was gonna be like, yo, let's just
go to the city.
Let's get a condo in the city for 6 months. Mm-hmm. Let's just live that shit. Yo, I'm gonna go to these kids' funerals. I'm gonna go to these marches. I'm gonna go to these rallies. I'm gonna sit in on church meetings and in downtown city hall meetings to really echo that because I'm like, you can't do that shit being in Hollywood with No ID sending you beats from New York. Like, I just don't think there's no way I can sit here and be like, yo, y'all, my next album is going to be about Philly and the violence and make that shit in Waldorf, Maryland. Like, you can't.
You got to be in the element.
You got to be there. And I felt like that album was a reflection of that. So to me, I mean, Nobody Smiling was cool. I didn't like Com's last album. I didn't think lyrically he was there because I just feel like his attention is in other places because the 33 movies he's in, I saw about another 12 that are in pre and post production now that he's doing. You know what I mean? So I just feel like, going back to what Cube, like what Vince was saying about Cube, is that, just give hip hop some time, man. Like, just give it some time and like do it 3,000. If your heart ain't in it, to be honest with you, I almost think we won a 3,000 solo album because we never got it. I don't really know if Common doesn't make another album, I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not gonna be sitting 3 years from now like, God damn, where's Common's next album coming out? Like, I don't know if we're really gonna be hurt if Common don't make another album. So that's my Porsche. Who you got up next?
I got the Wu-Tang Clan. I love them. They're my favorite group of all time. But after Wu-Tang Forever, it was just continuously worse and worse album to album. And recently they released, and I don't consider it a Wu-Tang album, but what was it, Wu Saga or whatever it was?
Yeah, that was Mathematics.
Yeah, that was
Wu-Tang. Some Wu-Tang niggas and Redman.
Exactly. So, but they keep trying to do these like group projects again, and I think the reason why they fell off is because I think after 36 Chambers, everyone went and did their solo joints, and everyone was really great at the solo joints, and so they figured,
let's not get carried away now.
Okay, not
Everyone
everybody.
wasn't great on
Okay, fine. You're right. You're right. Absolutely right. I retract the statement. But everyone did their solo joints. Everyone was focused on that. And then I think they came back for Wu-Tang Forever, and it was just like, I don't know, Kill, what is it that you always say? The stars and the moons and everything sort of just matched up perfectly. And Wu-Tang Forever was great. And then off of that momentum, I think they keep trying to come back and do another Wu-Tang like group joint, because obviously everyone still loves Wu-Tang as a group, but I think they just keep missing the mark each time. And I think it's just because everyone's like, the group doesn't vibe the way they used to, the relationships aren't there, and then also the focus and the importance of their solo work now has just taken away from it. So Wu definitely fell off for me.
Yeah, I feel you. And I think too, like, I know for me, like, and we had talked about this before, like, can a Wu album not be produced by the RZA? Like, you know, for me,
And
like,
can't.
right,
you can't do that.
Right.
Like, you can't have Cypress Hill without Muggs.
Right. You know,
you can't do it.
As soon as I saw RZA didn't do anything on his new album, and Redman was featured on like 12 songs, I'm like, this ain't no Wu-Tang album, you know.
Right.
But I think too, with RZA wanting to do movies and him starting to score movies and Kill Bill, and you know, just trying to do his own Hollywood thing, I think that's where like one of the main splits came, you know, because this dude is to me, he's Wu-Tang, you know what I mean? And
I brainchild.
Who I think Ghost was suing RZA, like either Ghost is married to RZA's sister or vice versa, and they was beefing, and like you said,
well, You God was suing.
Yeah, but I mean a lot of people,
yeah,
you know what I mean. So like you said, I think the relationships kind of turned. I remember reading when Wu-Tang Forever came out that RZA flew everybody out to LA, to record that, because he was just saying in New York it's like somebody pager go off, they out the door, you know what I mean. And I remember Ray saying something like it felt different because when they were doing the first two albums, it was kind of like, well, really the first album, it was like niggas stayed all night in the studio. Like, you know, that's where
but niggas was hungry too. So, you know,
right,
that's why niggas was all in. You get that money, it's like.
It comes back to that. But then, like, Ray was like, yo, your man would sit there and help you with your verse. Whereas with, I think, either Forever or the one after that, he was like, yo, people would do their verse and then they out. You know what I mean? So that energy ain't even there. No more of like having that camaraderie. And I mean, Puff did the same thing with Big's life after that. He flew them out to Jamaica or somewhere. You know? So it was like, yo, this is the focus, because we ain't gonna be able to make this in New York because niggas gonna be getting pulled 50 different ways.
Yep.
I mean, but yeah, I definitely feel you. And I mean, I feel like you said, Porsche, people are always still hoping for the Wu to come back and do something. You know what I mean? Whether it's the album that they sold for $1 million, or now I'm hearing something like they making is somebody making a dedication album to the Wu, or it was something about,
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, something about like they're trying to do a 36 album again, but with different people. It's something crazy that they're trying to do. So I just think folk are just always trying to get back. It's kind of like, I think with Jay, it's kind of like people still want to make a reasonable doubt. Like, you know, you're still waiting for Wu to come back and kind of do something collaboratively as a group or whatever like that. But I feel you. Nick, who you got up next?
Oh, man, y'all took all the mines, dude. I'm trying to see if I can snatch one from the sky, because I had Q, Wu, Common. Shit. I'll say the Roots.
Yeah.
That's another group that, you know, they consistently got better. Like, Do You Want More? They came out with Ill or Death Half-Life. That was better than the first album. What was the Things Fall Apart? I like Phrenology. I know a lot of people don't, because I like rock and all that other shit they mixed in. So Phrenology was still solid. Then after that, they kind of fell off a bit with The Tipping Point. Kind of hop back on with Game Theory. That was a solid one. I think that's the last Roots album that I liked, because after that, I just haven't been feeling it. And again, you know, they got the gig with Fallon.
Right.
They get, you know, they're comfortable. They ain't got a tour, you know, like 300 days a year. So I think that affected the music. You know what I mean? Yep. Like I feel like that really played a part. I think most of the choices we have, we're gonna find it coming back to outside of the music interfering with the focus of the albums.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, the crazy thing, I got the Roots too, and my thing is, I think post things fall
apart. Yeah,
I just felt like, number one, I think Malik leaving the group played a heavy part. You know what I mean? Because I feel like for their two best albums, in my opinion, Philadelphia and Things Fall Apart, I felt like Malik B was just as intricate to that group as Phife was to Tribe. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I've always
they had good chemistry, him and Thought. Yeah,
great chemistry together, and I think what happened after Malik left the group is almost like what would have happened if Phife left the group. You know what I mean? Just had Q-Tip, and it just never meshed well. Also, after Things Fall Apart, Quest took over a lot of the production duties. You know what I mean? Those first albums had a lot of the Grand Niggas, this cat out of Philly, Kilo,
Kilo,
other people like that was doing those beats.
What's the white boy? Scott Storch.
Scott Storch in the group. Keeping in mind, Scott Storch gave them their biggest hit with "You Got Me." You know, Scott Storch. The outside, they used to get a lot of outside production. Dilla used to be on both those albums, so I think Concerto was, I think, Chaos. So a lot of that stuff that we loved, just to me, that's where it messed them up. Is where Quest kind of took over the production duties. They stopped getting outside production, and when Malik left, and like you said. What was the album you said, Nick, was the last one?
Game Theory, he came back. Yeah.
Theory, he came back. You know what I mean? And it was like that energy again. And I felt like so long, when you look at the Roots album, there's so many features on every song.
Exactly.
Truck Turner, it was a nigga named Porn.
Dice Raw.
There's always all these features. And I felt like they was always trying to replace Malik. And I actually thought Porn was probably the closest one who I kind of liked his style a little bit. But I just felt like after that, the Roots kind of just became like, I'm looking on their Wikipedia page and they're like the only hip hop group that got like 800 members. Like they got a breakdown of members leaving. It's like, these were the original. Now this was the third bass player. This I don't know, Cat Sutherland and Hubbard, their bass players suing them.
Yeah.
Frankie Knuckles, who was one of the backup percussionists, is suing them. So it's a lot of hoopla going on with them. And then, like you said, Nick, I'm actually shocked that the Fallon Show didn't get them more fans. I actually thought maybe they can push some units now that they're on TV every
TV, exactly.
That hasn't helped either. You know what I mean?
But Black Thought is Black Thought. So I don't think the fans of Fallon would enjoy the Roots album, no way.
Yeah, but I at least thought they would buy it. You know what I mean? When you see Black Thought on Fallon, first of all, let's keep it 100. The nigga named Tariq on NBC.
That's what I'm saying. They don't even call him Black Thought. And for a reason, though.
But this is what I'm saying. I would think the white folk would be like, oh, that's Tariq. He's the one who rhymes with we say. We pick a word in the audience. Like, let's support Tariq. And they still don't even get any backup with them. So, but I agree with you 100% with the Roots falling off. Vince, who you got up next?
I'm going to go with the Big Daddy Kane.
Bruh, let me say this before you.
Oh, you just sparked one for me, so I got another one now. Thanks.
Let me before you even get started. Somebody tweeted me this weekend that Big Daddy Kane had 3 great albums. One very good. I didn't even reply. I'm learning not to even reply sometimes. Like, I'm not even gonna reply to that. If you think Big Daddy Kane has 3 great albums, bruh, I'm gonna just pray for you tonight. So I'm good. Vince, it's on you. What about Kane?
Yeah, well, that Taste of Chocolate album.
Yeah.
When I the first single, because I Can Do It Right. I don't know if any of y'all remember seeing the video.
Oh, I
Big Daddy Kane was stealing Jim Brown's woman. NFL legend Jim Brown. Big Daddy Kane, he's stealing his woman. And I remember being in the record store and seeing the album, and Kane had no shirt on.
Yeah, man.
And they got, I think there was a woman in the background. Kane, he was on another.
When he rapping it like New Jack Swing and shit, like I don't want to hear no rapping on New Jack Swing.
You're going from the first 2 classic albums to that, and I'm like, oh man.
And then follow that up with the Prince of Darkness, like
that Taste of Chocolate just started a slide. He was sliding in the chocolate fondue, and it was all going downhill. know what I'm saying?
You know what it was with Kane? One of the biggest things it was with Kane, and I'm joking. I'm gonna be serious. Yo, all them high top fade niggas, when they cut their hair, it just never was the same. Like, it was, like seriously, Taste of Chocolate, he had the little twist in them. You know what I mean? But think about it. Think about it. After Kid cut his hair and tried to get locks, what happened to Kid and Play?
Yeah. But yeah, Kid looked ridiculous without the box.
Right. But I'm saying Kane, that's top fade.
The superpowers, man.
Hey, I don't know what it was, but after that, Kwame cut his joint. What happened after Kwame and Only You? I don't even remember that next album. I think it was called Nasty. Like a lot of them niggas with high top fades. Y'all think I'm joking? That shit up. A lot of them niggas who had those distinct haircuts, who were known for their haircuts, was just done after that style played out. You know, and then too, I think Kane was he was always trying to keep up with the style, because we gotta remember that like in '93. I know that's like 80, that's like 90, because I was still in high school.
Yeah,
around 90.
Oh, like 90, 91.
Yeah, 91. A lot of stuff started shifting, you know what I mean? So even we could do it, what was that joint he had? I Could Get the Job Done. You know? Like, that was like probably his biggest crossover hit. I'm sure you start getting some of that crossover money. You try to do that hit again, you know what I mean? Which, going back to the roots, something I always had a beef with. It was like, you got me, now you got to break you off. It's like the same song just over and over again. So yeah, but I definitely agree with you, Kane. Yeah. And it's a shame too. But,
it is.
And I think Kane,
skill wise, you can't deny the skill set.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So
because I mean, even on that album, they got some joints where, you know, he's still flexing his skill and everything like that. But just the overall mood of the album, I mean, it just wasn't.
Kane started to be a sex symbol.
And absolutely.
That's the problem. In 1990, you couldn't be a sex symbol in hip hop. Like, that nigga was naked with Madonna, and he was doing, you know, he was doing some out of pocket hip hop stuff at the time. That, you know, Kane was just ahead of his time, because if
I ain't mad at that, he was naked with Madonna and Naomi Campbell. I remember that spread.
Yeah. I mean, you can't be mad at it, but it was just like that, just not what you were doing in hip hop in 1990. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
You're not gonna find Grand Poobah doing a spread with Madonna.
Grand Poobah.
Well, yeah, Grand Poobah wasn't in shape though, so they wouldn't want him no way.
All right, you got me on that.
Little chubby nigga look like a squirrel. They're like, nah. Hell no, he ain't in my sex book.
I got it. All right, the next person I got up is a group, one of my favorite groups ever, Public Enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Love them to death, love Chuck to death. If you know me, you always hear me say one of the main reasons I never sold drugs was because Chuck D. Yeah. Chuck D. I mean, got put on in them with Rebel Without a Pause. It Takes a Nation is probably, to me, the most important hip hop album ever. It's my favorite. It's my number one. I want to say they started to fall off around that Apocalypse 91 album. Trust it. By the time I get to Arizona and Shut Them Down. I think that's why they had to get Pete for the remix, to kind of bring some of that newer generation oomph back to that album. And Pete, of course, killed the remix.
Now, didn't Hank and the Shock Lee, what was it? What was the brothers? It was Hank.
Yeah, Hank. You know,
they stopped producing them right after Black Planet.
Yeah, that's another joint. This album was produced by the Imperial Grand Ministers of Funk, and I don't know who that was, but it wasn't the Bomb Squad.
Yeah.
I think too, even if the Bomb Squad, I think that sound of loud sirens was also getting played out in hip hop. Like, You Can't Trust It was kind of like the last time we had that like loud siren sound, the Bomb Squad sound. So I think that style was starting to get played out. And by the time their next album, Music in the Hour.
Yeah. I remember seeing that video on Rap City. It's like, yeah, Chuck is not working with the new cat. You know, in between Artifacts and Nas, you got that. Whatever that song was that had. Yeah.
And then, I mean, I also got to remind folk that Chuck was old. Like, Chuck was like 35 when, you know, Rebel Without a Pause came out. You know, that's why this dude had so much knowledge, because he was an
older cat.
Right, he was an older cat. And the funny thing about Chuck and Public Enemy falling off, and I always salute them for this, is that they never changed their style. Like Chuck was like, this is what I'm gonna rap about. He didn't do a intelligent hoodlum and intelligent and then turn around and be like, nah, now I'm Tragedy Khadafi. He stuck to his guns. He was like, this is what I rhyme about. If it's played out, so be it. You know what I mean? But I mean, even to this day, you know, I salute Chuck. I think if he got some better production but he's still talking, you know, what he believes in. And I gotta salute the man for that, because like I said, when cats like Tragedy Khadafi, it's almost like when Calm said, you know, she said the pro-black was going out of style. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about it. I used to love her because it really takes you through where hip hop had to shift from. If you want to stay relevant, you kind of did have to put away the beads and come back in another way. Because by the time Illmatic came out in '93, if you was on your album cover with African beads and a Malcolm X jacket, nobody was buying that. You know what I mean? So, but that's my thing for Chuck D and Public Enemy for why they fell off. Porsche, what you got up next?
Lil Kim. She's one of my favorite female MCs. And I think, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit on previous shows for other reasons, but
none of
I loved hardcore. I think, but again, a lot of that is attributed to Big writing her rhymes. And then obviously she fell off when Big passed away because he wasn't there. And like Nick said, it's not like she had some good joints on albums here and there, but as a whole, she wasn't able to have an album quite like Hardcore. And I still check for her. Like when she drops singles, even now, like when she drops singles, I'll still listen to them. And every time I'm like, that like Hardcore Kim is just gone, like so gone. And it's 100% correlated to Big in my opinion. But yeah.
And it's crazy because a lot of people I know don't mess with hardcore. I thought that album was crazy.
Yeah, that was dope.
I mean, No Time was crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, man, look, man, men are sexist, bro. If you think about it, I didn't think about this about hardcore until I got older, though. Because at the time, I was like 17 when it came out. Little Kim treated men the way men treated women in their records, and men couldn't handle that. That's why they didn't like the album. Mm-hmm. She was just she treated men the same way men treated women in hip hop, and men, the egos were bruised, and they couldn't listen to it.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm sitting here like Big Mama thing was dope. No Time was dope.
That whole album, whole Queen Bitch is my favorite song.
Yep.
Drugs is
that whole
Drugs
album.
Is crazy.
It's like
that's my joint.
Yeah, that's like a solid 4 mic album. Like it's
album
just
was dope.
Yeah, it was dope. And Notorious K.I.M. again was okay. I bought it and I listened to it, but it was never hardcore. And I just think Kim was never able, and she's probably not ever able to get back to that. So
yeah, but just looking at this album, I mean, and again, I mean, Ye just flipped the drug sample for pushing on Daytona. So here's the funny thing: we coming back from Philly. And T was listening to that new Nicki Minaj album. I didn't realize it's called Queen. But she's got a song on there on the Dreams type shit. Smashing niggas. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, you done got the name, you got the album Queen, and you doing
exactly doing it. And then be trying to slight Kim.
Right. Like Kim influence you or nothing like that.
Whack,
yeah. I feel you on that. Nick, who you got up next?
And we can't forget the Lil Kim poster. You remember the article in the source when she was squatting down, bro? Look,
that's the album cover.
Yeah, that was actually.
Come on, what dude didn't want that? It was like, I need like the whole wall covered with that.
So the funny thing is, I was at the radio station at the time. I had the picture up on the wall. Keith Murray comes in. He was like, God damn! Like, like, damn, I didn't see that joint. Like, Kim killed it, man. Yeah, you can't forget about that. Who you got up next, bro?
KRS-One, you know what I'm saying? Like the Boogie Down production, banging, classic joints. Even their album started to kind of decline. Like once was it Edutainment and Sex and Violence or whatever, but he brought it back with Return of the Boom Bap, linked up with Premier, got the new flavor. He never lost his touch on the mic. That's probably my favorite rapper from the 80s. Came back with the follow-up to the Return of the Boom Bap. I think it was self-titled 95, banging, to me. We got into it on the timeline. I found out a lot of people didn't like that album.
So which album? You said the KRS album?
The self-titled one. Yeah.
Which is crazy because they got Rappers Are in Danger on there.
Yeah. MCs act like they don't know. Had to build your skills with Busta Rhymes and some joints. Yeah. The third solo is where you really saw the chink in the armor. You like, okay. The I Got Next album was like, had some joints, but it's like I'm skipping a little more than usual.
Right.
Then after that, which is another thing I wanted to bring up. It seemed like when these cats go independent, they have trouble getting good production for some reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Because AZ, when he got off of, I don't know what label he was on, production declined. KRS, same. He got like 10 albums after he got off of Jive, and not one of them is dope to me. Not one.
But you know what, Nick? You bring up a good point with that. I mean, number one, if once you go indie, you know that budget gets cut. You know, and there was a time where, you know, I mean, of course, the Pharrells and them were getting 100,000 beat and crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, you know, I know even the underground producers had to be getting 10, 20 G's a beat. You know what I mean? And with cats like KRS, I'm actually kind of shocked that people.
But also, I heard he kind of burned some bridges with cats. I don't know if he wasn't paying producers, because I have heard that. Okay. Like some cats like, nah, I ain't fucking with Chris producing.
That could be true too, because I was about to say, I would think cats would cut Chris some slack, like, you know, like, yo, just tell me what you working with. We gonna make this happen, whatever, like that. That would make sense. And like you said, I think everything with BDP was just production. The first album, Said G helped out a lot. Second album, a lot of people don't know D Nice did a bulk of that. You know, the Spades, I'm still number one and stuff like that. But this is, if nobody's ever heard of Peep Out, the D Nice, I think it's with Combat Jack. God bless the dead. Very dope interview with D Nice, just about how KRS kind of blamed him for Scott's
death. Yeah.
Like, you know, KRS basically kind of demoted him and like took him from being really part of BDP to just like nigga carry the bags type thing. You know what I mean? And I think him losing that production, and KRS and Kenny Parker really tried to produce themselves, and I never was a real big fan of their production. So, and it may just go back to what we talked about last week, MCs who can't pick beats. Like, maybe KRS just can't pick beats. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm shocked that cats like AZ and them wouldn't have, like, went out and sought out up-and-coming producers. You know what I mean? It's something that I have a beef with a lot of MCs. Like, I feel like, especially now more than ever, I feel like a name isn't that important anymore. Like, right now, if the beat is dope, I don't even care who produced it. Right now, we got liner notes. So at the time, you don't even know who produced the track. So we're in a time right now where you don't have to say produced by Just Blaze anymore. You know, so
a hot track.
Right, I'm actually shocked more MCs don't try to find up and coming producers to work with and stuff like that. But I definitely agree with you on the KRS. Vince, who you got up next, bro?
I had KRS and BDP myself, and I just want to add one thing, and then we can move on. I think KRS falls into that same thing that you said about Chuck D. KRS ain't never swayed away from his style, and I think for him and maybe Chuck, I mean, I have no way of knowing because I ain't inside the hip, but I think, you know, you want to stick to your guns, and somehow the music just isn't up to par with what you want to bring across, you know, to the audience, and it just falls on deaf ears a lot of times. Because I think KRS got like at least 20 albums solo.
Yeah.
And another thing too, these dudes are eating off that back catalog.
Yeah.
KRS, Chuck D, they don't have to make nothing else. Even though Chuck D's doing that, the Prophets of Rage, and they touring and all like that. These dudes, a lot of these dudes that we talking about, Ice Cube, all of them, they can tour off of that back catalog with no problem. They don't even have to release anymore.
Yeah, man, just perform them classic albums front to back.
Absolutely. But I mean, you know, the point of the whole conversation is falling off, and these guys have fell off, and I think it's in Chuck D and KRS's thing, they stuck to their guns to the point where they didn't worry about the production maybe as much. They wanted whatever they were, you know, especially Chuck D. You want that message to come out, but unfortunately, people just, I don't know, they just don't want to hear it.
And I mean, again, too, like you said, not just Storm, but both them dudes do the circuit as far as speaking. In KRS. You know what I mean? So they can eat off of that. But then it goes back to kind of like we talked about last week when you have a production crew. I mean, when you got the Sandler brothers, Eric Vietnam, you've got that bomb squad that kind of take care of your sound for you. You know what I mean? And bring out the best in you. Same thing with KRS. When he was working with Premier, when he was working with the whole DITC crew, they're bringing out the best in him. Said maybe he did just burn some bridges. The next group I actually got somebody who is one of my favorite MCs who I felt like didn't fall off. And I'm not just saying that because he's my favorite, and that's going to be Pusha T. I feel like Pusha T has been around since '99 with The Funeral. That's the first time I heard the clips.
Yep.
That was crazy.
Still remember that video. Yep.
Lord Willin' was good, was dope. I really liked it. Hell Have No Fury is my shit. That's my classic right there. Till the Casket drops. Cats may not even know about the We Got It for Cheap mixtapes that they do with the Re-Up Gang.
App Lively. Yep.
Then you go into his solo stuff. My Name Is My Name, King Push, Daytona, his mixtape, Spirit God. I feel like this dude's from 99. 99 is almost 2019. For 20 years, this dude has kind of been knocking the shit out the park. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, nowhere do I see him falling off. I mean, he's going from being with Pharrell, which most people wouldn't be able to bounce back from. If you leave the clips, that may be it for you. Where Pharrell done went on to Kanye, he done got some Timbaland beats that don't sound like Timbaland. But to me, Pusha does have that voice and that flow that I feel like can kind of fit with almost any beat that you know at him. But I would still love to hear one day the album he was working on before Ye came in and scrapped it for Daytona. Because I feel like that shit had to be crazy too. So that for me is an example of one of my favorite MCs who actually
never fell off. Yeah.
Porsche, who you got up next?
Tribe. I got Tribe. I love Tribe. Tribe is my second favorite group of all time. But I think after, I would say, Beats, Rhymes, and Life onwards, it was just not like they couldn't get it back. They had a good run for sure. But I just think, especially this last joint. And I know they've had a lot of personal problems within the group, kind of like the Wu, I think, a lot of personal problems and a lot of disconnect happening with their album. So, and as fans and as listeners, we have 3 super solid albums to begin with. And then all of a sudden, you can hear it right away. And Kill, you always talk about, Fife doing his thing and Tip doing his thing and what the hell did Jerobi do and all that kind of stuff. It just seemed kind of disconnected from that point on. I mean, Tribe has, we know from Low End Theory, Midnight Marauders, Tribe has 5 mic albums. It's just they couldn't ever get it back. They went down and stayed down.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I mean, most people have, heard my take on it, but it's just, for me, that Beats, Rhymes, Life, after midnight, it seemed like everybody just went their own way. And even from the documentary, seeing that kind of pushed it forward even more. I know nobody will really ever admit it, but I feel like Tip was ready to be done with Fife. And it was like, I'll replace you with Consequence, which is why I think we got Consequence
all on Beats, Rhymes, and Life. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think Fife has said something to the extent of I didn't even know Consequence was coming in the cut. I didn't know nothing about this whole new Uma thing. So I felt like, Tip was at that point after midnight where it's I'm gonna start producing and putting my name on it, and and that's when Fife moved to Atlanta and Ali was working for A&R over at Quest Records. And, I just felt again, the focus wasn't there. You know what I mean? The focus wasn't there. That energy wasn't there. And I think Vegas and Tone brought up on an episode that we did, just rap change. You know what I mean? And you were getting Jay-Z. You were getting, Biggie. You were getting these other
Mobb Deep and
But Tribe had their own lane. I get that, but Tribe had their own lane. They would have never been even tried to be Big or them. And I think that their fan base was also the fans of Big and Nas and all them. Like, I think Tribe did a good job of really cementing their own style and their own way throughout since their debut. What I think is just what you said. The focus wasn't there, and the group just went left of each other. Like, they weren't feeling each other anymore. The vibe wasn't there, and that's what caused it. I don't think rap changing had anything to do with specifically Tribe, just because, in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, Tribe has always just been in their own lane. And you're sort of a Tribe fan in addition to a Nas fan, a Pac fan, a Big fan, and all that kind of stuff. But you would never expect Tribe to be them or compete with them. They're just two totally different parks, like ballparks. So that's just how I see it. I don't know.
Point. I never looked at it like that. But let's look at it like this. Because like we just said, with Common, with Public Enemy, hip-hop is always changing.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could say Public Enemy made their path, laid it down, and they should have been able to continue to make that same music. Because you could be a PE fan and an NWA fan, who are basically polar opposites.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But could Public Enemy have, with the sound of hip-hop changing, could Public Enemy have been able to just stay in their lane and keep making their type of music? Do you think people would have supported that? Because I feel like that's what they did. Well, you know what? Well,
that's what they did.
The Bomb Squad leaving kind of played a part in that.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say?
No, but still, the sound changed, and I think Tribe Called Quest would have ended up like in the Raucous record pack. You know what I'm saying? When that clear divide came with mainstream and underground, Tribe was going to be underground.
Absolutely.
At that point, they were going to be underground. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, because the songs they made weren't going to be on the radio every hour. So when that divide happened, I think it would have impacted Tribe's commercial success, because they were going gold and platinum, and I think no matter how good the music would have been, they still would have fell back some just due to the direction that rap took.
Right.
That's fair.
And I think what Vague was saying, and I don't want to misquote him, but he was just saying like the lyrical Annie kind of stepped up another level.
That too. Yeah.
Like
I would agree. I would definitely agree with that. For
sure.
Sure.
I don't know.
Especially when it comes to Phife. Because you're talking like Nas, Ray and Ghost and all these cats. And I joke about AZ, but the nigga flow he got a perfect flow. Like the flow, the way dudes flowed on tracks changed.
Yeah, I don't know if
if
I bust off on your couch now, we call Seaman Furniture. Like, that line is as dope once, like you said, you hear AZ. Once you hear, Rather Unique, like, I'm like, oh, that Phife line was whack. You know what I mean? But I feel what you're saying. And I think, too, is that even though Tribe had their own thing, that, there was always that peace. I call them peace people that kind of came with Tribe. You had that native tongue. You had Diggable Planets. You had the whole Peace Brother and everybody having dreads and all of that stuff. And by the time 95, 96 came, that was dead. Nobody had dreads. Nobody was, none of that whole peace people thing got played out. So, but I do feel you that Tribe, I wonder if Tribe would have stuck with their guns. What beats are, I always tell people, what if Tip didn't give away any of those beats and those beats were on Beats, Rhymes, and Life? What if Crooklyn and Give Up the Goods and all those beats that he was doing for everybody else showed up? Because people will say JD ruined Beats, Rhymes, and Life. I don't think he ruined it. I just think the sound changed. You know what I mean?
He only did 3 tracks though. So how involved was he? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
I can see the love movement, but not Beats, Rhymes, and Life.
I just always wonder if, like what Portia's saying, if we got regular Tribe, like straight up Tribe, they're still focused, they're still rhyming over them Q-tip beats.
Well, they're still friends, because at some point they weren't even
right
on speaking terms.
Yeah, they weren't even on speaking terms. So I'm sure that had an impact on.
But
stuff.
that's what I'm saying though. Like, even with the beats, even if the beats was up to par, mainly Phife, even Tip to an extent, but Fife's style would have sounded dated to me.
No, I agree with you, but
yeah, that's fair. I can agree with Nick.
I'm just thinking in terms of, because to me, like, I never really liked Fife. You know what I mean? So when I like found out that people thought Fife was better than Tip, that shit was like crazy.
Yeah, that's Twilight Zone. They need to do it.
You said Fife is better, Vince?
He be trolling though.
See, he think he's better.
Vince be trolling sometimes though.
Neither one of them are lyrical juggernauts. I would never say that, and that's another reason why. I mean, you're saying if Tribe kept on going the way they was going, Tribe would have still had their fans. Nothing would have changed. They'd have still been golden. Nobody, I don't think anybody who listened to Tribe was looking for some super lyrical miracle MCs, because neither one of them were.
I mean, we weren't, but we didn't want his name is Muddy Ranks either. You know.
No.
We didn't want that, and we didn't want the bend you like elbow macaroni and stuff like that. Like,
right.
Well, here's the thing with this newest album that Tribe put out, the Thank You for Your Service, We Got It From Here. That one, like, I don't know if it's just me. Sometimes people have told me like it's just you, but I feel like they just swear a lot. And I'm like, wait, why are they cussing so much? Like, I don't want to hear Tribe drop the F-bomb every other line. That's not what Tribe is like, you know, like you said, like peace and all this kind of stuff. Like, I don't want to hear that from them. And that's what I felt like I got. And I was disappointed in that last album. As much as I loved it, loved that they had an album out.
Was it them, though? Was it them? Like, you got one of my favorite rappers is Too Short, so like cuss words don't bother me at all.
And Wu-Tang's one of mine, and I love Too Short too, so I know I don't mind cuss words at all.
Was it them or was it the guests? Was it the guests? Because they had a lot of guests too.
I feel like it was Tip. Like, I feel like it was Tribe. I should go back and listen to it, but I remember
I know Busta cuss a lot. Like Busta, Consequence, they cuss a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like
then you gotta remember Jarobi. Jarobi is new. I don't know if he was.
Yeah,
cussing,
true. That's true. But
before.
I just feel like even on Busta's albums, I never heard Busta cuss that much. I was like,
that's just you now.
Okay,
right. Go back to them catalog. That's just you now.
I don't know.
Hey, Busta can cuss.
Yeah, but
exactly.
All I know is that I was listening to that new album, like the Thank You for Your Service, and I remember being like, why are they swearing so much on a friggin' Tribe album?
Sound like my mom.
Stop.
Yeah.
Mom.
It's just.
I get what you're saying. It's like, yo, Heavy D didn't curse. So if you threw in a new Heavy D album and that nigga talked about, you know, it's like, I don't know if y'all heard the joint on West Side Gun album with Busta. Busta up there cooking more coke than anybody on that album. Busta started cooking coke. Like, you know, he's like, yo, I get the coke on the plate, I sniff it up. I'm like, damn, nigga, like, yo, you.
That's probably why he got so fat, though. He probably is. On that, like.
You put him on a track with West Side Gun, he probably like, oh, these niggas talk about coke. I
got to do that.
Too,
you know? So,
no, I feel you, Porsche. I feel you. But I do wonder if Tribe would have stayed Tribe, production, everything, would they have been able to, you know, because the same thing with Public Enemy, or is it just like, we're like, nah, we don't want to hear that anymore? Because you got to remember, hip-hop people are finicky. Like, we are finicky. Yeah. Like, pro-black shit was the shit for a while. You know what I mean? And that's what everybody wanted to hear. Then all of a sudden, it was like, yo, no more pro-black. Like, it's very much like The Wiz, where it's like, yo, the color's green, and then everything turns green, and the color's red, and you know, we're very finicky because I love Public Enemy, but again, for me, that's why I said if the production stayed the same,
right?
Like I think Public Enemy is different than Tribe in that way. I think Public Enemy had a very, very distinct 80s, mid to late 80s sound that was very, very distinct for the time. Like for me, that would have sounded dated just because the way that the beats were, the way that they're just everything about it was very like I don't know how to describe it. It was just very 80s.
Chuck D's flow, like he had the best voice in rap to me, but his flow was always like he didn't rap like Rakim and Big Daddy Kane.
Right, exactly. Like they were very distinct in their sound, and they really encompassed the sound of the 80s and what was like, you know, good then. Tribe was different. They were softer. They had a little bit more jazz infusion. They were a little bit more like,
oh, you like
I don't know.
With that jazz fusion shit got.
But from Tribe, that's what I want. Like, I also love Wu-Tang. I love Mobb Deep. I love the grit and grind. But from Tribe, I like that sound. I like the Low End Theory, Midnight Marauders, like that kind of thing. I didn't like Public Enemy. I think would have had to change. I think they would have sounded dated. So I think Tribe had a more, I don't know, their sound was had more longevity to it, in my opinion. It just crossed. Yeah, like I just feel like it crossed decades. It could have anyways if they hadn't put Busta and Consequence dropping all these F-bombs on their last album. I don't know.
I feel you. All right, Nick, who you got up next?
Oh, I had a quick question because like about Brand Nubian. I missed the first album because I was like 10 when that came out. In God We Trust. But when I did go back and listen to the first album, there's a distinctive change there. As far as content,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Past the Gap.
Right.
Like, damn, what made them change so much between albums?
I think it was the same thing, man. Like, again, I do that. I used to love a show where we really look at where hip hop changed from. You know what I mean? Because when I first saw Wake Up, that was the first time I had really saw, you know, the Gods and the Earth and the 5% Nation and, you know, cats with, you know, the dreads and, you know, all of that. And it was like, that came out, I want to say my junior year. So we're looking at 91 and then God We Trust came out in 93. It's a different time. That wasn't gonna sway in 93. You know what I mean?
They still had like the 5% and the, you know, the black man is God, but it was more.
But it wasn't on that same Wake Up. If you look at Wake Up, and then look at, you know, Punks Jump Up to Get Back. Like, you look at two totally different groups, man. Yeah. But again, you had to in some way sway a little bit because nobody was gonna be doing videos. Like that's my freshman year at Morgan. So you talking about Redman what? You talking about, you know, cats still banging the Chronic. You talking about people getting high now. So you know, that black man is God thing, man. I heard before I got to Morgan, the year before I got to Morgan, everybody was a God in Earth. The year I got to Morgan, I ain't see no 5%. You know what I mean? So again, hip hop, you look at a different year. Like I said, man, you put Nas in 91, Jungle and some other nigga from Queensbridge is dancing and fucking doing routines. You know, you fast forward 2 years, now the niggas got on army fatigues, fucking with Heinekens in their hand. And you know what I mean? So hip hop can change very quickly. And to me, that's what happened between those first two Brand Nubians out. Even when you look at Puba's joint, he wasn't as hard as Brand Nubians because he still had, you know, what comes around goes around. But when you look at that video, it wasn't no 5%. It wasn't no African beads. It was Polo, Hilfiger, and Jabos.
Right.
Was Puba always on the 5% tip? I feel like
Jamal rubbed off on him. For that first album, he was. I mean,
when you talking about getting skins on the first album too, though.
Yeah, well, Puba always ran.
I want to say, he kind of rode that line, but like I said, my introduction was that Wake Up video, you know, and
no doubt.
A lot of people and then Slow Down came up, and maybe that's when, you know, they started getting more, you know, because if you look at Wake Up and then you look at Slow Down, it's almost two different groups, you know what I mean? But you're right, by the time that next album came up, Past the Gap, Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down, We Knocking Niggas Out, it was a total different flow, even the way they dressed. You know, we can say Tribe. Look at the way Tribe dressed on the first album. I just like them because they look like a bunch of fucking weirdos. You know what I mean? Now, when I see, you know, a Check the Rhyme video, and I'm like, oh, niggas got on jersey, baseball hats, now they dressing normal. So, you know, it was like, yo, that's the way you dressed. And it was like, nah, nigga, I don't dress like that. So I rock with them. Look at Bonita Applebum video. What the fuck do these niggas got on? You know? And then go ahead and look at, you know, the jazz. You know what I mean? It's like night and day. So hip hop, 2 years in hip hop can change the whole way you dress. I was watching I don't know if y'all ever seen, what was that movie? Was it State Property? I was watching one of them Rockefeller movies. Yo, these niggas had on like 4 extra large fucking Rockefeller. You know,
I hid all of my pictures so my daughter can't find those. You're not gonna find Dad wearing Biggie Smalls clothes.
Right, like you fast forward, yo, I look at old pictures of me and I'm like, see, how you let me, yo, that shirt is down to my foot. Like, that look like I got on a nightgown. Like, that's what you wanted to wear, nigga. But you know, so hip hop changes so quickly. And I think that was with breaking news. You know, it just changed quickly like that. You know, like you said, they were still on the 5% stuff, but if you
kicking ass too.
Yeah, if you just look at Punk's Jump Up, and what was the second single? You got Love Me or Leave
Me Alone, yeah.
You ain't hear no 5% stuff on those songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was not what the label was trying to put out. But what you got up next, Nick?
Redman, Reggie Noble, one of my favorite MCs. Like this dude had like 3 fire albums in a row. What the Album, There's a Dark Side, Muddy Waters. That's the Name wasn't as great, but I still like the majority of it. Had the Blackout album with Meth, I thought was solid. And then Malpractice happened. It's like, dude, what, like, you know how many times, like, I ain't go out to the club with my boys, like, yo, I'm going to like this Redman. What the hell happened to him? I'm sitting in the house all weekend, like, what the hell? Why don't I like this Redman album? That's probably his worst album. Yeah. Other than the Reggie Noble, the Redman Presents a Reggie Noble, whatever that was. But yeah, man, like Redman just, I don't know.
He's coming out with a new joint too,
which I'm not. Muddy Waters 2, like I'm not.
Muddy Waters
albums. 2. Yeah, I'm not in the sequel album. So I mean, the stuff we've been playing on Instagram is cool, but it's like, I think he just need to tour the old stuff and stop making new music.
I agree. I'm still gonna check it out, but I don't think he's gonna. Yeah.
The funny thing is, I heard the first single and I'm like, yo, this is Muddy Waters 2? Like I feel like it's always that banana in the tailpipe that these rappers do with us. It's like on
they just use the name.
Yeah, it's like
the vibe ain't nothing like it.
Like on IG, the stuff I'm hearing don't sound nothing like the single. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Ye and Jay did that for the Watch the Throne album. They like, yo, we in the studio with Primo and this person, and then they never make the album. You know what I mean? It's like they get you hyped by who they say they rocking with, and then you get the album, and it's like, yo, this ain't no Muddy Waters 2. With Red, I've always wondered, you know, Red is lyrical, like even on them ciphers, like he'll still rip it. But again, I think it goes back to, can these people pick beats? Because to me, Redman seemed like the type of nigga who could just be out on Newark and a nigga just be like, yo, here's a beat CD or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't understand. Hell, MOP Jack and Me was from me going up to them like, yo, here's a beat CD. I'm sure 1,000 producers be at these shows like, yo, check out my beats. So again, I'm just always stuck on, I don't know if Red is hell-bent on produce. I don't know if Red is on his J. Cole shit. Like, nah, I'm a producer. I'm produce my own stuff. I don't know what he's on, you know. I don't know. Because then I heard Eric Sermon was supposed to be doing something, and I ain't heard Sermon stuff in a while. So again, it's these rappers trying to keep up. Like, are you willing? I mean, Red came out in 92. It's 2019. You know, like, bro, you may need some help. You may need a younger nigga to try to help, not get you on no trap shit, but just help you navigate. Like, maybe that stuck in 92. I don't know what it is. But I definitely feel you with Red. Then, so you got up next.
We'll go with MC Lyte. MC Lyte, I don't know what the album was, but after the first,
probably after the second one, she had a quick fall off like Kane.
Well, it was like the first 3, but the third album with like Poor Georgie and all that stuff. That was the beginning of the things going downhill. Yeah, and again, MC Lyte started doing a lot of stuff outside of the music. All these people, when you were talking about Redman just before, Redman started getting on them TV shows and Meth. They was doing the movies.
Nigga in the Chucky movie.
Yeah, you know, so all of that stuff, like we said before, you're getting more money for one. The money is going directly to you. You ain't got to filter through any manager or any, you know, label and none of that. You getting that check. So the music's gonna suffer. And like I said, while I got big respect for all the people that we talking about, MC Lyte disappointed me after the third album. Things kind of started going in a direction I didn't like anymore. So I'll go with MC Light for the next.
Yeah, she had like the album with Roughneck and whatever came after that.
That was the third album.
Rock the Party and all that.
Yeah, Cold Rock the Party.
But again, I attribute.
Was that Puffy on Cold Rock the Party?
Yes, it was.
Did the remix because like the original version, the original version is super trash. Like Puff helped that out with Missy.
Yeah.
With the Diana Ross sample. I like it, but
fair,
not for Light.
fair.
Not for MC Light.
I think again, man, with Light, I give it to the industry, man. Like the industry was changing. You know what I mean? And I know these first two albums were on First Priority. You know what I mean?
There was the good ones.
I don't know if she was still on First Priority. Maybe they picked up with Atlantic. And I mean, Grat talked.
That is what happened.
Yeah, Grat talked about a little bit, just like with the Pete Rock deal. You know, sometimes when these subsidiaries where First Priority, and that was her father's label. You know what I mean? So there's going to be a certain level there. But if she gets picked up by Atlantic, and, you know, these record labels are notorious for being like, you got to do this shit. Like, yo, you got to come up with a hit. Like, you know what I mean? If not, we'll drop you, and then you'll owe us this X amount of dollars back. So it's almost like you're kidnapped. It's almost like, I got to do a Roughneck. You know what I mean? Because that's the sound right now. I got to do a Poor Georgie. I can't do no fucking 10% diss now. You know what I mean? Because that's not going to sell. The label's not going to do that. I'm not going to recoup. So it's almost like being kidnapped, you know? So with Light, I don't want to give her a pass, but I don't think Light was really doing a lot by that Roughneck album. I mean, really all Light does now is voiceovers. You know? Right. So it's not like Light was out in Hollywood partying or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I just think the industry changing, you know, the industry changing affected a lot of people who couldn't keep up. I mean, look at Digable. You know, I was never a big Digable fan, but I know people who were, and they couldn't keep up. Once that jazz shit got played out, nobody wanted to hear that. You were Butterfly and you were Doodle Bug and you.
Well, no, but actually, the second album was super pro black. I think that's right. Cause like, that was pro black, and I think because they had hella white fans with the Cool Like That. So when that second album, like, where's the Cool Like That? Yeah, like, nah, we in your ass, Whitey, and they ain't with it. That's what happened on that second one.
Right. And like I said, I was never a big fan. I was like, these niggas are fucking named after bugs. Butterfly.
Yeah, Butterfly, Doodle Bug, and
yo, somebody out there will listen to you. It just will not be me. Next group I got up is one of my favorite groups, and it's crazy because they've only had one album. I gotta go with Smith and Wesson, man. Like coming off of The Shining, like
yeah, man.
This is a top 10 hip hop album.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, mine too.
For this, I'll take over the Infamous. I'll take this over almost damn near. I love this album. But easy. It was the Beat Miners. After the Beat Miners, after they, you know, disconnected. I tried to listen to the Rude Awakening the other night, and it was just like, nah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Outside that, they had that one joint, Spanish Harlem, that the Beat Miners did with Hurricane G. That was dope, but it just wasn't there. Even the shit they had, Super Brooklyn Brothers or Super Brothers, I wasn't a fan of that. When this joint came out, Monumental, I was like, okay, they getting with Pete Rock. Maybe this will be it. And I mean, it was cool, some joints on here, but I just think the Beat Miners and those two just went together perfect.
Right.
They just gave them that dark sound that they needed. And, you know, and to me, they haven't been back. They did like a Jamaican album 2 years ago, which had a couple of joints on there, but it's kind of hard because they're not fucking Jamaican. So, you know, they just never bounced back from that. So I got to go with Smith & Wesson. Of course, you got anybody else left, miss?
Nope, I gave you my list.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Nick?
I'm gonna go Nas, and not that he fell off. You know, that's my favorite MC of all time. I just think he hit quite a few potholes along the way in his career.
Well, he went from Illmatic to It Was Written. So yeah, I hear you.
I knew you was gonna do that.
Hold tight, what, Vince? You don't like It Was Written?
Nah,
no, I do. I like It Was Written. It's just a little running joke.
Some of the guys on Twitter. Yeah. But you know, he when I went back and just went through his discog, it's like this is my favorite rapper, but I only like half of his discography. So that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think, again, Nas is somebody who's just confused a lot. You know what I mean? I think it was like I made Illmatic. Y'all tell me I made the greatest album ever, but I don't win for Lyricist of the Year. I don't sell no records. You know what I mean? Bad Boy coming on with Big and all of that. So I think a lot of stuff for Nas was just not knowing which way to go half the time. You know what I mean?
And that gotta hurt because like Biggie was the man.
Right.
All of those singles, even the beat like Who Shot You, then he bring in Junior Mafia, those singles do well, Players Anthem, Get Money, like Biggie was flat out running it.
Right.
Like easily.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, you know, the one thing I can say about Nas, and even with a comment, like both of them, like they have a bounce back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they always come back. Yeah.
You know, like I thought Khan was dead in the water after that, like not like water for that
Electric Circus. Yeah.
You know, and his bounce back with B was crazy. And I mean, I remember when Ether was out, you know, the only person I knew that was even saying Nas could come back was my barber Lee. I'd be like, Lee, you on fucking crack. He like, wait till Nas come back. I'm like, man, your nigga's dead. You know what I mean? And bounce back is crazy. You know what I mean? So they have that tendency to be able to bounce back. I just, you know, with Nas, I just don't, even after the Nasir album and hearing that him and Swiss did an album, I'm like, my nigga, you really did a whole album. It's like, that troubles me that you would even
consider doing that.
Right, you know, right. You know, not only consider doing it, but you actually did it.
Like, yeah, you went through with it. Yeah,
stayed in the studio and rhymed over like 12 Swiss beats, like that. I'm a little worried, you know. And so now I definitely feel you on Nas, but you know, prayerfully he has to bounce back. And since I'm the only person in the world who actually liked Nasir, hopefully he'll have the bounce back on whatever he drops next. But I will ask this: him being your favorite rapper, did you like Nasir? I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, my problem with it off the rip is too short,
right?
And I only like half of what was there. You know what I'm saying?
Would you say? And I know Vince, you said this earlier that you would check for it out of respect. But if Nas drops a dud one more time, are you checking for Nas? And what I mean by checking, like, are you excited? Like, of course you'll listen, but.
Nah.
If Nas drops a dud, well, tell me this: are you excited for whatever Nas has up next? Like, are you hyped? Like, yo, I can't.
No.
Nah. And I mean, I wasn't hyped for this for Nasir.
Yeah, I wasn't real hyped for the Nasir neither.
Me neither.
I did like the Nasir album, but I think another thing that we got to think about too is Nas been doing it for a minute. So once you get, as a fan, I think if you get disappointed a few different times, you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I love Nas, I like Nas, but I don't know if I'm gonna go out and buy the album. Right. I'll check it out. I'll get it dubbed from my people, and I'll check it like that. I think a lot of people do that, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, if the product's not what everybody expects, I mean, you can't blame anybody. And I think. The points that Vegas was making on the people who pick bad beats thing in relation to Nas, it made perfect sense that he's got people filtering and he may not even actually hear them. And then on top of that, it was said that Nas really don't give a damn what the beat sounds like. He wants what he's saying to be
heard,
more of the factor in his music. So if you got both of those things in consideration, then I mean that's just the direction Nas takes his music in. And like, let me say this about the Swiss thing. I damn sure don't want to hear that. And I don't have a big problem with Swiss, but
yeah, him and Nas just don't mix.
Nas with Swiss just don't make sense. Just like for me, Nas.
Listen, I'll take.
There's some on Smash crap. Like I'm not trying to hear a whole album of that.
I'll take Nas. I'll take Nas and Kanye. It can't be worse than Nasir.
No, I think it can be.
That's just what
I think it can be. I think, now, Swiss Beats.
I don't know. I think if
Swiss will have Nas in the club.
Exactly.
Nas ain't supposed to be in the club. Hating the Nas should have never been made. That ain't Nas's lane, like y'all said on that last episode about the beat picking.
But I want Swiss and DMX. That's what I don't want Swiss and Nas.
But I think it's too that with Nas making all of his money now, these investments, again, I wonder how important is hip hop to you anymore. You know what I mean?
I think he still love it, but it ain't like, I don't think he focused on it.
And when
because it's not his primary source of income anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. It's definitely not his primary, and that goes back to what Nick said at the beginning here is about Will Smith. Is like he's getting his money from elsewhere. Why would he? Why would he focus on that kind of thing?
Think about this: Nas ain't performing with an orchestra with any other album but Illmatic. So what's going on there? You know what I'm saying? He already, where he can go back to. He can just do that.
But I will say this: like Nick, you said you think he still loves it. My question is, if you love it, why haven't you dropped the album in 6 years? Like it's almost like to me with like
Khalees getting in them pockets, bro. Like he had to make money.
I mean, I feel you on that.
Child support
but the money he's making is based off of investments and things like that. Like I can't sit here and tell you I'm gonna go 6 years without making a beat or dropping something. Like drop a song,
okay. On that, what the Nasir is not what he been working on since Life is Good.
Right.
I'm convinced of that.
Right.
He just wasn't confident enough to put. This came out because of Ye.
Right.
Like that's why that came out.
Right.
If it was anybody else, we still wouldn't have a Nas album.
Right.
Like I said, I'm just always interested because in somebody who makes music, it's like there's only but so long I'm gonna go without making a beat, or I'm interested to know like from a Vegas or a like can y'all go 2-3 years without going in the studio? Like, don't you miss that shit? Like, it's almost like playing ball. Like, even if you're 40 and you love playing ball, even though you got a wife and kids, maybe you'll join a 40 and over league. Maybe you'll just keep a ball. I know niggas who keep a ball in their trunk and a pair of sneakers in their trunk at all times, So it's like, if you love it, then why don't you do it? You know what I mean? And again,
Honestly,
it could be politics, it could be things, but
right.
Honestly, think if this Nas and Swiss Beats album comes out, I think this will be the last album Nas makes because I feel like he's. And no, why are you laughing? The reason I think that is because no matter what Nas teams up with, no matter what beats he's got, what hip hop hates him for it. Like I don't know what it is. Like you're taking Kanye, who's everyone says is like this god producer and makes these god beats for everybody else. Suddenly he teams up with Nas and Nasir's a fail. Like it's just, and I know, and I don't really like Nasir very much, and I know all the reasons why a lot of people don't like it. But I think this is Nas's one last thing. Like he's gonna look at it and be like, "Look, I've done everything. I've tried everything. I've given them everything, and nothing works after Illmatic." Like there's always something to be said. And I think that after this album with Swiss, he's like crossed off every variation of producers ever. And then he's just going to be like, I can't win.
See,
he'll just be like, I can't win.
He never did the premiere album, which we don't want now. Yeah, we don't want that now, but that should have been.
But I think the wild part is that I think Nas, like we said, he has the bounce back. Like I think the bulk of people like Stillmatic.
I love Stillmatic. I think Stillmatic's dope as hell.
I think a lot of people like Life is Good. So he can't win for losing after Illmatic. It's finding that right chemistry. Like I really think Life is Good. Him and No ID had good chemistry. That Daughters joint was dope.
Wild Baby and all that,
joint with Ross was dope. So Locomotive was dope. So I just think I don't think it's like, damn, I can't win for losing. I just again. Why would you I get it. You got to make a joint for someone on Smash. So I get why you got, Miguel and fucking Swiss Beats on there. Like those three names don't even really go together. Nas, Miguel, and Swiss. No, but I get it.
No, but Nas did a joint with Mariah Carey with Joe and who was it? With Joe and
the joint with Joe?
He had that song with Joe.
I don't even remember that joint.
I know he had a song. He had a song with Maxwell.
And that was
fucking horrible.
He has a joint with where he talks about banana cake and you look like a figure eight or whatever he's saying.
I don't know nothing about.
I don't want to look that one up.
No, maybe he did a verse.
I don't want to know nothing about Nas.
Listen,
I'm not looking that song up.
You act like that just never came out. I don't want to hear about Nas and no single.
For real.
Like,
Oh,
I don't even
okay.
like,
Forget I said anything.
Forget I said anything. Cake and figure 8. Oh Lord, no. What is you doing?
All right, the last group I got is Outkast. They fell off because they broke up. You know what I mean? Or more importantly, I feel like with Outkast, I feel like they kind of grew apart. You know what I mean? I feel like that was the thing. You know, still making dope music, still doing everything, but I remember reading an article where it's like, yo, they got 2 totally different tour buses. Like, you know, 3,000.
Because Dre didn't smoke.
Right. 3,000 was like, yo, I don't smoke. I don't want no strippers. And, you know, Big Boy is like, I smoke. I want strippers. So
boom.
I just think them growing apart kind of like led to, and I think 3,000 just being like, I don't want to, like, I could almost see during that Hey Ya run, like when they was on every video show. I forgot which one it was. It was one of the video shows, and 3,000's like, and here's Hey Ya for the fucking 70th time, millionth time. You could just feel like he was just tired
of it. You know, like De La was tired of Me, Myself, and I.
Right. I mean, and I've always wondered this. You know, how do people get up the energy to do the same shit every night and have to bring that same energy? You know, like I don't know how people on Broadway do it. Like you got to do the same fucking play for like 3 months. Like that would drive me crazy. I cannot, I take different ways to work. I just can't do the same shit every single day, over and over again. Like I just cannot, like being on Broadway for a 6-month run of the same show would be hell for me. Like I don't care how much money you paying me. That's hell to have to keep saying the same. Let me play somebody else. Like, let me, like, you be the lion and I'll be the scarecrow. Like, my nigga, I cannot be the cowardly lion for the fucking next
for 200 nights. I can't do this.
I can't do this, you know, so it's
they be drinking and snorting, boy. I bet they be.
Yeah, they got to do something. That's a punishment to me. Like, so I'm just always wondering, like, having to do Hey Ya a million times. And I remember something like, I think Milk wanted to do an ad with Outkast, like around the 3rd album of Aquemini, and Dre was like, yo, I don't drink milk. You know, like, and like I think one of the detergent companies wanted to do something with So Fresh, So Clean, and I don't use that detergent. And I mean, I heard 3,000 say something like, yo, I've cost Big Boy millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's why he did that last tour.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, I've cost this nigga a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think that's why Cass, I mean, of course, and we've gotten into that before, Nick. We got on TL one day about if it wasn't an official breakup, is it a breakup? You know what I mean? And I remember you saying no. I'm like, yo, Outkast is broken up.
They just ain't announced it, right?
They just ain't announced it. Same thing with Gangstar. They broke up. They just never announced
it. True.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I feel you on that. Vince, you got anybody left?
Yeah, Run DMC. Run DMC at one time. I remember I think it was the Back from Hell album, and they had the song Pause. That song,
I ain't gonna hold you. Pause was kind of dope. I know it was new, but that shit was kind of dope. When Jam Master Jay was rhyming, I know it wasn't Run DMC, but it was a dope beat. I liked it. You know, I'm a producer. If the beat's dope, I'm good with it. But yeah, you're right. They were doing New Jack.
When I heard that, I was like, man, that's not even Run DMC, man. That's just.
But then they turned around and had that joint, the Ab, that was tough.
Oh yeah, now I was about to say that. I really like the Ab. Oh man, the Ab, that was dope. Yeah.
But you know,
that shit, I forgot the damn name of the song now. That made that first joint I brought up. You know, like people, they gotta make that one song to try and bring. I don't know.
I mean, the hard part is you got to realize. I mean, Run DMC. We talking about '83. You know, we're talking about the beginning stages of hip hop. And I mean, them dudes had to just keep throwing shit on the wall to see what would stick. You know what I mean? And now with the King album, it was like, fuck it, let's get bald heads like Onyx. It was like, let's get Pete Rock to do a beat. Let's get Eve to do a beat. Like they're just grabbing on whatever would work. I mean,
no doubt.
For a while, Jam Master Jay had dreads. Then they were doing New Jack.
That album was all over the place. If you look at those credits, they had Pete Rock, Q-Tip, the nigga from Onyx,
right?
Jermaine Dupri. I'm like, bro, this don't match. This You can't make an album like that.
But you just throwing stuff on the wall to see what it fit. Like, oh, like it's 83. Like, yo, niggas was wearing tight leather pants when we came out. Like, and you know, pocket hats. Like, yo, we like at this point, it's like I don't even know what to do. You know what I mean? Russell don't know what to do. So like the best thing is like, hey, dress like everybody else and get all the dopest producers right now and let's see what'll work. And I mean, Down with the King, people love that. You know what I mean?
The song, anyway. Yeah.
The song, not the album. But I mean, I definitely feel you with Run. So prayerfully, people watching this show, you can understand that people who you love, that are your favorites, it's okay to be like, Batman can't beat Superman. It doesn't mean you don't like it, man.
Yeah. And then the dude posted the GIF. I was like, yo. You realize Superman letting Batman do that. Superman can knock his fucking head off if he wanted to.
Absolutely.
Bro, I gave up with Batman. Like, people was like 10 different, like, yeah. I give up. Y'all win. Y'all Batman fucking, I thought it was J. I thought it was B. I thought it was Mary. Batman has the worst stands in the world. I'm like, at a certain point, y'all got Batman beating God himself because he read the Bible 10 times. Like, it just gets bad. So all that to say is, yes, you can like somebody and say, that J. Cole, you know, freestyle wasn't all that. You know, it doesn't, you don't like the person.
It just went over your head, kid. That's all.
You know, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It doesn't have to go over your head. It's okay to be a fan of somebody and just be like, I wasn't feeling that album. You know, because I like J. Cole. I like the Born Sinner. I like the Forest Hill. But these last two albums, to me, they're snooze fest. You know what I mean? Like, do not operate heavy machinery while you are listening to the album. You could fuck yourself up. It's just don't do that. Like, do not do this. Like, I feel like those albums need to come. You know, y'all know those medical commercials that come on at 2 a.m. with like side effects like this may cause death, this may cause stroke. That is what needs to be listed on these J. Cole albums. Like, you may fall the fuck asleep faster than you've ever fallen asleep in life if you choose to listen to this album.
Agreed.
Doesn't mean I'm not a fan. Doesn't mean I'm not a fan. I think J. Cole could do a lot better, and I think a lot of it starts with the beats, with the production. But that's just me. Nick, give him all the stuff, good brother. Oh, Nick, do you have time?
Kill gonna post it up, and actually, I actually like the KOD album. I like my family here.
I like KOD too. I have no problem with it.
How many mics, Nick?
3.5.
Okay.
I agree with that. 3.5.
Yeah. And that's another thing. As a fan, you can like an album without saying it's a fucking classic.
That is true.
Absolutely.
That is true. The only two songs I can even stomach on there is that Kevin's Heart and I think ATM. I think those are ones that I can rock with. But Nick, real quick, we never talked about it. Phonte, Better Than Black Thought. I know.
Yeah. No, my thing is, Phonte is dope as hell. Let's not get it twisted.
It is dope.
But Black Thought got 2 albums that I love in his catalog. I don't love any Phonte album. You know, he got great songs. He got dope albums. But I can't say I love a project that Phonte has out. And Black Thought always got Illa Death Half-Life and Things Fall Apart.
Now, here's my challenge with that. Does he or does Malik B factor into that? Because when Malik left, we both said Thought went down. Well, the Roots went down.
The Roots went down because Quest took over. And, right. You know, he the music nerd, so he got to show everybody how musically knowledgeable he is, and that affects their sound. Right. Can't blame all of that on Thought.
No, I'm not blaming it on Thought. And again, I don't think it's no right or wrong answer. It's just
but I get what you're saying as far as like putting the 2 solo joints that Phonte, because I'm not familiar with the Foreign Exchange stuff, but the 2 solo albums are better than anything the Roots have made probably since Things Fall Apart.
Right. So basically since 1998, you know what I mean?
Well, Game Theory is dope to me. I don't know how you feel about Game Theory.
No. It was good. It was solid.
But outside of Game Theory, yeah. It
was solid.
The funny thing is, dope as hell though. I'm not taking nothing away from Phonte.
And the funny thing with me is, I was never a fan of Little Brother or the Foreign Exchange.
I remember you saying that.
The funny thing is niggas swear by Little Brother. I just listened to the Metro show for the first time last week, and Phonte was killing that shit.
Yeah,
I ain't even heard this album. I'm like, and niggas like, oh, you ain't even heard this? I'm like, And y'all did, and y'all still acting like I said Bushwick Bill was better than Black Thought. I'm hearing Black Thought. I'm hearing Fontaine. Like, I'm like, oh shit, that's an ill quotable. I'm ready to pull over on the side of the road to tweet. Like, this nigga said something like, I'm showing these niggas they word like a teleprompter. He said it much thoroughly than that, but that was the gist of what he was saying. I'm like, yo, y'all that. So I'm not even including the foreign exchange stuff that people swear by. I'm not even including the little brother. But again, I just, you know, if people don't agree, and I just said that Fonte had leapfrog thought, not that, you know, so on my list, somewhere in the teens,
Fonte is ahead of Black Thought. I ain't mad at that.
You know, anything like that, but cats lost their damn mind.
But wait, when you say when you say he leapfrog, is that from 14 to 12? Is that
well, let's say, and this isn't it, but let's just say
16 through 20.
Let's say Thought was at 15 and Fonte was at 18. Okay. Fonte is now 14. He's above. He's
so has Black Thought dropped on your list?
Yeah, Black Thought basically dropped. Black Thought dropped on my list based off
one spot or a couple of spots.
I don't know. I you know them things shit.
He's gonna, hey Nick. He's saving that for the timeline. Nick, he's gonna put it out.
We gonna get into this.
Nick, the nigga who be making me put it out. Nick, like, like, do I feel like it's like for the days I shouldn't do fucking looking with some people? But yeah, that's all I'm saying. And again, I get it. People love Thought. I'm now at the point where I'm now questioning what has Black Thought really done. And that's no slight on Thought. That's no slight on. See, Vince, you're laughing. It's no.
I'm laughing because you'll say that slick stuff, and then you say, "Oh, no disrespect."
but here's the problem. Here's the problem. When you're putting two people against each other, I have to start picking out your weaknesses.
Absolutely, ain't no wrong.
Wrong with that. It's no disrespect when I say Batman don't have no superpowers. The nigga don't. Like, it's not. I'm just pointing out to everybody that you do remember this nigga has to drive to the crime scene. Like, he has to fucking press start. He has to get gas to get to a crime scene. That's not slick. That's just you.
Gotta get gas.
He's moving. He's us. We all have to get in our car to go to the supermarket. He has to get in the car to go meet Commissioner Gordon. That's all.
He got a gas pump in the bat cave, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that that's not a slight. That's not a dig. You like Kilby taking little ill shots. No, I'm just reminding you. Human. He's us.
That's why I put that Skeletor out on you.
That's all I'm doing. I'm just asking. You know, hell, I saw Justice League. Batman had to raise Superman from the dead to beat this nigga. But now y'all gonna turn around and tell me he can't beat Superman. This isn't happening. Like, we should have had to raise the dead if Batman can beat them. But you gotta bring somebody back from the dead. Like,
I learned today that Batman is just like us because he's got to put gas in the Batmobile.
So I'm not right. I'm just saying I think we all hold Thought at a high place. But I'm just wondering, what exactly has he done? Like, I mean, I get you. Philadelphia, I get you, things fall apart. That was 1997. So from 1997 to 2019.
Game Theory.
I thought done.
Game Theory, 2006. Now, outside of that, you know.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
But we're saying in the past 12 years, he did Game Theory and a 10-minute freestyle on Flex.
Right.
That is enough to put him in this stratosphere where nobody...
Which wasn't even a real freestyle. Sorry. I'm still salty about that.
Good point.
I wasn't that high on Thought.
Yeah, I
was never one of those
cats. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm more so talking
I get what you're saying.
We watched the show who were like, you know, Thought is just like the fucking magna cum laude of hip-hop. And I'm just like... What has he done? Like, if you're telling me in the past 12 years, he gave you Game Theory, which I like more from Malik B, and he gave you a front flex freestyle that wasn't a freestyle, that's really not a lot that you've achieved over the past 12 years. Yeah. I just think it's that knee-jerk reaction of like, well, like if somebody asks you, yo, is Chris Webber in the Hall of Fame? Somebody like, hell yeah. I'm like, why? And it's like, I don't know. Like, I think you just say it. Like, it just sounds good. Like, yeah, Chris Webber should be in the Hall of Fame. But what did he do? He made Sacramento better, but did he win? Like, you know, so I think a lot of times it's just a knee jerk. And I'm just like, hey, do the knowledge. Like, if you could come back and show me that Thought has this beautiful body of work and these Roots albums, like, or what you go to sleep to every night, cool, I get it, but
you go to sleep too.
I mean, some people do. I mean, I'm arguing with a nigga who got a picture of him and Thought in the damn profile pic. I'm like, I can't with you
knew,
the picture. Like,
the AV nigga.
Yeah, like I'm like I can't. I'm like, what the font say got to do to get in the picture with you, man? Like, what?
Right.
No, I can't win it. If your favorite rapper is in your profile, I'm not winning this argument, man.
Look, check this out. There's nothing wrong with liking both Fonte and Black Thought. And even if you say, just like you said, if you say Fonte is better than Black Thought, then so be it. I mean, I'm not going. I don't think anybody should drag you all the way. Well, you like it, so that's for one.
I do not like getting dragged. Just
no, but I'm not saying drag you back.
That's actually not my favorite thing to do. I do like the argue. I do like the argue.
Yeah, all right. Hey, what you say it again?
I do like to argue. I do like to argue.
Yes.
But more than anything, I just want people to think. The same thing with this show. I have to do homework for this show. People have misbelief. They're like, "Yo, we can't get on your show. I don't know all that shit." I'm like, I don't know all this shit. Like, I have to do research. I just want people to think before. And some people on the timeline said, "You know what, Kill? I disagree with you, but let me get back to you on that. Like, let me go get back." And then other times it's just a knee-jerk reaction. Like, no, you can't say Batman could beat Wolverine. You know, so it's just like, you know, I don't get it. You know, Tony Stark is a human. He's just like us. He puts on an Iron Man suit, you know.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Maybe that's a better one. Who would win, Batman or Tony Starks? Because neither one of them have powers. Nick, who you got?
Now, I would say Iron Man because he has like the suit with all his shit. You know what I'm saying?
But he does have a weak heart.
Iron Man
does have a weak heart.
Yeah.
Horse, who you got, Batman or Iron Man?
Iron Man.
Iron Man?
Even with the Wolverine thing, my thing was his mutation isn't what makes him unstoppable. It's that Weapon X. Nigga was a project.
Well, really, the mutation kind of makes him unstoppable because he's got the healing factor.
True.
It's not a cool power, but that's a superpower. I mean, right now at 44, if I can have a superpower, it could be I can eat whatever the fuck I want to eat and I don't gain no weight. Like, that's how my superpower has flipped back from if I was 30. I'm like, y'all want to fly and super strength, nigga, just let me eat some ribs and not gain no more weight. I am okay with a whack superpower. So yeah, Wolverine doesn't have great mutation skills, but he is elite.
Yeah, the healing power does, yeah.
Vince, who you got, Iron Man or Batman?
Oh, Iron Man, straight up.
All right, I got Iron Man too, so just be ready for all the hate to come across the timeline. Batman is going to have a way to beat Iron Man. I don't care what any of us.
I mean, that's true too, though. He will figure out something.
Yeah, he's going to figure it out, right.
But see, this was my thing. You just walk Wolverine and Batman just walking
bump into each other. Wolverine gonna fuck him up.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about like this nigga gets 10 months to fucking study for the SAT.
but
somebody, like Batman got rumble you today, not 50 years.
Wolverine gonna get it, but if Wolverine doesn't kill him, Batman gonna do the knowledge. Believe that. Yep. And then the second time around, it's not going to be the case. But that first time around, he just bumped into him in the alley. He's going to mop the floor with him.
What knowledge is Batman going to do? Like, what study and what does this guy PSAT book? Like, what is all of this Batman is going to do to research? What is he going to do?
He going to look him up.
Just like you said, you do the knowledge before
the show. Who is this nigga with claws coming out his hands?
For the fight.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I could do
Wolverine is on file.
But here's the thing. You can look at this as a boxer who's going to do study tape of somebody, right? As a boxer who study tape. Yeah. I'm going to study all this tape of Floyd Mayweather. I'm going to get in the ring and still get knocked out, right?
No, but Kill.
You're not going to get knocked out. You're losing in the decision.
That's right. You're going to go all 12 rounds?
I'll go all 12 rounds if I don't pass out of exhaustion.
Exactly.
But, of course, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, you know what's going to happen is Batman just goes back to Lucius and says, he's got these claws. It's made out of this. Let's research it. What kind of suit do I need to beat this guy?
Exactly.
And then Lucius is going to come up with it. You know, he's got...
I need something that can't cut through it.
Right, exactly. Yep. And they're going to research what adamantium is. They're going to research how he can use it, what can not destruct it, and he's got he's got money upon money upon money. He's got no limits when it comes to budget.
He's gonna take the Batjet to Wakanda, get a suit made out of
whatever he's got to do, whatever he's got to do, he will do it. And I think that's what Nick means when he says he's going to use his.
But yeah, of course, if he's just bumping the Wolverine in the alley in New York,
there you go.
It's a wrap.
There you go.
That's right.
It's a wrap.
He'll get out of it before he dies, but then he's got to go back to Lucius and get it. He's got to go back to Lucius.
Yo, I'm still stuck on Morgan. He got to go back to Morgan Freeman. So he got to go to Miss Daisy. But I think right, he is gonna go to Lucius, and Lucius is gonna cook something up. So basically, Batman by himself, Batman needs a team.
Oh yeah,
to beat.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Need a team to beat anybody.
All right.
Yeah.
And then one of those storylines, somebody fucked up Wolverine's healing powers too. I gotta look that up.
Yeah,
I think that's how he died. The whole thing because he couldn't.
When Magneto took the adamantium off his bones, his healing factor was so decimated that Deadpool killed him one time. Deadpool stabbed him and killed him because his healing factor couldn't catch up to the trauma.
Yeah.
See, that's my only thing with these comics because I think they just be talking shit sometimes. Because I'm just saying, why did Magneto do that for like the past 20 years? Like we've been rumbling for 20 years, bro. And now you get the bright idea that I can take the metal off your body. Come on.
That's the thing. It would be inconsistent according to who writing it.
It's just
like somebody burned him to a crisp, like to the skeleton, and he still regenerated. Like
right.
Yeah, so.
Like dying in comic books is like dying on a soap opera.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
No problem. Porsche, I know you don't want to give out any of your stuff because too many people following you now, and so we go.
I've got less than 1,000 followers. Let's just keep it 100. I've got less than 1,000 followers, so I'm good.
All right. And Vince, give them all your stuff, good brother.
I don't have any stuff but to tell you my sincere condolences for the loss of your grandfather.
No doubt.
Prayers up for your family as y'all mourn and continue to heal from the loss.
Yes, sir.
And we'll make beats for food.com.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate all the prayers. Here's the funny thing. I called my sister today. I'm like, you good? She was like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, well, nigga, your grandfather just died. Like, nigga, I just saw you yesterday. I'm like, yeah, but I'm calling you the day after the funeral. Okay. She's like, nigga, I'm fine. Like, cool. So, yeah, my dad's side of the family, we are not that talkative. So, but I definitely appreciate it. Y'all know what it is. Kill 889. We'll make beats for food. I had no idea where all comics had. We're going to have to do a comic episode one day.
Yeah, we do that.
That thing popping. So I'll check y'all next week, y'all.
All right.
Yeah.